Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger. And my friends, this is my choose a main video guide for Pocket Bravery. So Pocket Bravery, a newly released indie fighting game, and it has a batch of very interesting and fun characters. And I figure if you want to learn more about the game, or if you want to try out the game yourself, armed with knowledge about how the game plays and what the characters play like, well, that'd be a pretty good way to do it, wouldn't it? So that said, there'll be timestamps in the video. We're going over the entire cast. And that said, we're going to start with our protagonist, Nuno. So starting off with Nuno, you would think the game's protagonist, it would usually be like this Shoto style. You know, fireball, hurricane kick, uppercut, all that kind of stuff. For Nuno, not quite. He's actually more stock rush down than anything else. He does have a fireball. In a way, it's more like the King of Fighters Ryo style fireball, in that it doesn't quite go full screen. Although, don't get me wrong, you know, definitely gets the job done. But basically, he's all about getting in, and his moveset helps with that. He has target combos that all easily go into specials, other target combos off far normals, so you can poke your way in, and then still get combo confirms after the fact. That's very handy. And that's kind of the name of the game, not to oversimplify it. A lot of his special moves also help with that. So say the Fireball, the enhanced version of Fireball, while also on top of doing, you know, more damage, is dash cancelable. So if you go for a simple string and go for your EX Fireball, you can dash cancel the Fireball hit and then keep going with more strings, more attacks, more combos. So pressure, 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 attack, attack, attack. It's also much the same on block. Don't confuse it. So if you dash cancel your EX Fireball on block, you're still +1. So it's always going to be your turn as long as you're willing to spend the resources on it. And just general offense flow is easy. Proximity normals, close heavies, multiple hits, so that leads to easy hit confirms. You can also link into it as well, so that's really handy to go from lights directly into a heavy. If you've seen previous coverage of this game as well, you would know that certain EX moves wildly change the properties of the moves. So the EX version of the Rekka is just straight up a wall bounce. His flip kick here, which is effectively his Dragon Punch analog, the EX version, also juggles and you can combo from it. But yeah, Nuno, not too complex. Easy combo structure, easy offense flow, attack, attack, attack. He is rush down 101. So if you like just getting in there and also like taking turns even if you already get blocked, this is your boy. Oh, and just to put it out there, a lot of KOF inspiration in this game. So yeah, Nuno has a Ranbu, and yes, it goes through fireballs. So that kind of helps the whole rush down aspect of the character. Because if you dare throw a fireball, he can definitely punish you very easily for it if he calls you out, right? But yeah, Nuno, good rush down boy. And if you like playing protagonist, well, he's literally the protagonist of the game. So there you go. Now, Mingmei is meant to be like sort of the story foil to Nuno, and she is definitely quite different, so it's not quite a Ken Ryu situation, although she's a bit more classically styled than Nuno is. So, yo, you got the fireball, you got sort of the uppercut, not quite a hurricane kick though. Now, the thing that puts her out just right out of the gate here, stuff like the fireball, two versions, heavy punch, light punch, naturally enough, but you can chain them together. So your zoning ability is just a little bit stronger, because a jump has to be much better timed, just because there's more active frames of fireballs on the screen. So if you jump poorly, you can land right into it. Speaking of which, her uppercut analogs, so light punch, heavy punch versions, and they also, just like before here, they can chain. So you can get one into the other. And of course, naturally, for combos and stuff, that means more damage. Now, she's very much all about like Rekka style series stuff, so she does have a proper Rekka. So, of course, go back punch, first hit, and then you can keep doing follow-ups and eventually go to 3 hits. And much the same here for heavies, just obviously does more damage, but slower. And also, we do have dive kicks, and her dive kick does have follow-ups as well. So after the first hit, you can get 2 more follow-ups. And funnily enough, if you happen to look at the move set here, they are second impact and third strike. Now, the big thing out of the gate here, Mingmei, the stance. So the stance is ultra tricky. You only have 2 options, but trust me, they're the only 2 options you need, because one's a low and the other's an overhead. So naturally enough, if you're looking to be tricky here, overhead defeats crouch blocking and the low defeats stand blocking. So your 50-50 mix-up is canned, it's baked into the character. As far as a lot of her metered offense goes, EX Fireball is a nice big slow fireball that you can definitely run past and use to pressure the enemy on screen, right? Those are some of the best kind of fireballs, the ones you can just attack in front of and they'll back you up if you get hit, right? That's always great. EX Rekka is a lovely 1-inch punch sequence. that does a good chunk of damage. It's pretty respectable considering like basic damage from like lights and normals isn't that high in all this game. And for EX stance, once again, certain moves are quite different on the EX versions. So for her, it's a giant wall bounce and leads to very easy combo ability. As far as supers go, she has some of the basic stuff, right? You know, deal damage, all that, right? But she does have a dive kick super, and you can do it while jumping backwards. So if you're looking for that jump backwards gotcha move, this is definitely one for it. A lot of modern fighting games do not like having you do any special move while jumping backwards. So Pocket Bravery, they're not too worried about it, so jump backwards and fish all day long, and only attack forward when you get the chance. So overall, Mingmei, I think, has a lot of solid tools. Has good trickery, right? Able to open you up, rewards hit confirming, because all record characters reward hit confirming, and all in all, is pretty cool. Now, Kimberly's quite unique here. So one of her main modes of attack is tossing out these little mines, which you can either let rock and detonate eventually, or you can force them to detonate immediately. And she can toss them in close, she can toss them far, and she can only have a couple on the screen at a time. If you look here on the bottom left, there's actually a meter. So you can have a fair bit of these, but they take a little bit to recharge, so you can't go crazy just spamming and owning the screen with these bad boys. But yeah, it's a big part of the character just being able to control the screen with landmines, which is always handy. Now, another thing that's handy is, once again, a lot of King of Fighters influences in this game, and she has the King of Fighters short hop. So it's a command, it's down, down, and the two heavies. But you do it, and then you can attack out of it, right? So obviously much less time to defend yourself than, say, a regular jump in. And of course, naturally as well, you can combo and just do whatever you want from there. A lot of Kimberly's offense also comes from her command roll. So in and of itself, it's just a roll, and you can control the distance depending on the button you press. And yes, by the way, it does go through fireballs and projectiles. But you have 4 options to attack from it, one for each button. So light punch is basically a big target combo string, knocks the enemy down. Heavy punch, big punch, that slides out the enemy. For light kick, it's quick strike. And for heavy kick, it's a straight up knockdown sweep. So you have multiple options. And of course, naturally, if the opponent is anticipating any of these, you can just do nothing and then go for a throw or something like that, right? So it's multi-layered like that. There's quite a few options to choose from. And other fun things, like we also got dive kicks and some knockdown dive kick too, which is handy. Also, Kimberly is a counter character, so if you get the right read, you can dunk the opponent on their head quite easily. And EX counter also wall bounces. Also, like some King of Fighters favorites of ages past, we do got some big shocking deliveries here on some things. So her EX grenade toss is indeed just a capture state basically, and it causes a force crumple, and in which you can get a combo from it. So say we get our combo in here, okay, we did it, and when you know here, we got some nice up kicks to help juggle the enemy, and yeah, you can just get all sorts of combos out from an easy stun state. As far as things like supers go, if you want to live out your Rolento fantasies with all sorts of explosives, absolutely feel free, and also has a big dive kick super as well that leads to a big explosion. With my time with Kimberly, I think she's a little bit more tricky than some of the other characters, at least not as straightforward as, say, like Nuno is, or Mingmei is. But she definitely evokes a lot of classic fighting characters of years past, and with that, I think she is interesting. Now, Arshavin, I don't want to blow your mind or nothing, but when you play a fighting game and you see a big Russian dude with a bear motif going on, it's probably a safe bet he's your game's grappler. And funnily enough, yeah, Arshavin's going to be getting some big dunks on you, right? So gameplay-wise, he's pretty straightforward, and that's exactly what you want out of a grappler for the most part, right? So he does have a strike special here. It's just cortical forward, light or heavy punch, and he does have a very easy hit confirmable target combo you go into. And if you hit the special, another input gives you the throw off the special. This is a side switcher, but it's an easy knockdown, easy do. The main grab is the comrade hug, and well, he gives you the old bear hug, as it were, and tosses you around. Not too much to it here. And keep in mind, this game does let you combo into command grabs, like, say, King of Fighters. So it is expected that you'll do this in combos. Now, he does have multiple ways to grab you, as any popular grappler should, right? So while you're being, blocking, say I'm a little too far out to get the main grab. Well, he does have flying, leaping leg scissors. So he can still break your defense even from a good deals away. And he does naturally have the charging bear, which is some sort of running bear grab, I guess you can call it. So from all sorts of distances, from point blank, a little far out, or well, quite a whiles away. Arshavin can definitely start chucking you around pretty easily. And of course, the fun doesn't stop there. He also has a command run, and his command run actually hits you while he's running at you. So while you're doing it, you can either go for some quick leg slides here, and he does have special supers as well that only work from being in a down state, which is very interesting. And he can also, while running, just beat the holy hell out of you, right? So no fuss, no muss, no style, just violence. And of course, so many more grabs. EX Running Bear grab is actually a quick grab that tosses the enemy, that leaves them in a hard knockdown state. And say, our regular grab, well, that becomes a grounded grab, which only grabs people in hard knockdown states and restands them. So say, especially in the corner, right? Hard knockdown, hard knockdown grab into restand, into, say, strike combos, it all easily flows together. Also interesting about him is his desperation super. So everyone has a desperation super, but his has a chance to perform a critical hit. So it's a dice roll as far as I can tell. And if you get it, awesome. And if not, well, then you didn't. But yeah, just a big potential for a lot of damage, to say the least. So if you're looking for your more proper traditional grappler in a fighting game, Arshavin is definitely your boy. Now, Malika is a very tricky character, not really fitting in any defined archetype. So out of the gate, one of the most important features of the character is the fireball, which is basically a trap fireball. It just stays on screen, and that's all there is to it. And if you happen to walk into it, or happens to get placed on you, it bops you. And she can place them at various distances on the screen, high up as well, not just linear on the ground. And the one thing about it is she can actually teleport to them. It costs you a little meter, but you can say pop it on the enemy's head and teleport to it and land and jump kick them in the head, right? So she can threaten that at any time while it's on the screen, and that's tricky, right? So your movement is going to be very strong with the character, and of course there's a lot more than just that. So she also has all manner of reflex. So if you don't want to deal with projectiles, she can either reflect it back at the opponent, or she can just straight up absorb it into herself. Malika also has a counter, and basically it just stops the enemy in their animation. So if they did something slow, you get a guaranteed punish, which is handy. You always like stuff like that, right? You want to get those big punishes, but you can do more. So from the state, you can actually basically jump from it. And while you're jumping from it, you can also do attacks. And you can also do a fake out version as well. So if you think the enemy's gonna like uppercut you or something for trying it, then you can do this, fake him out, and be like, nah, then punish him on the other end of it. So counter and trickery all in one move, very handy. And keeping with the trickery, so she has shadow clones, effectively Ganaijin. And what these clones do, well, is about what you would hope and expect. So when you hit the enemy, they will repeat what you just did and keep the enemy in lock stun, keep combos, all that kind of stuff. Like whatever you can dream of, you can definitely do. So unfortunately, I don't got sick combos for you, right? I'm not much of a custom combo kind of guy. But if you got that mindset and that works for you and you want to create those custom combos, Malika can absolutely do it. Now, Ndidi, he's the game's resident big boy character. Now, he does have a command grab. It is a true 360 command grab, by the way. And this game being this game, that means you can combo into command grabs. But he's not as pure of a grappler as, say, Arshavin is. He only has really the one grab versus Arshavin has all sorts of grabs. Thing to note about the character, as far as the game lists it, the game lists him as effectively the most difficult character to play. If you're used to bigger characters, he is a charge character as well. If you're used to this kind of character, I don't think this is going to be too much of an issue for you. Now, speaking of being a charge character, so he has charge shoulder, just charge back, forward kick, and it's about what you would expect in this kind of game. So shoulder is a really good combo tool because you can just do basic hit confirms in the shoulder. Also very safe if you space it correctly, if you're just going to use it like as an attack in and of itself. Hard version goes basically full screen. Charge back, forward, and punch is a projectile and it arcs upwards. So the thing about this specifically is light punch and heavy punch have different angles. So if you hit heavy punch, it goes out further. If you hit light punch, it goes out more shallow. Basically better to catch jumpers. And hey, speaking of catching jumpers, charge down, a punch is the big shoulder. So this is basically like buffalo headbutt sort of. Good for quick hit confirms as well, as you can easily go into shoulder, up shoulder from basic hit confirm. So yeah, that's the charge stuff. And also, now just to round it out, down punches is a ground pound. So maybe his, zoning game is a little bit different given the nature of the projectile, right? But if you're full screen, he can still catch you slipping if you are not paying attention to the ground pounds. So his screen control is actually quite good. So a lot of what makes Ndidi go, besides the basics, is his EX moves, because they give him a lot to work with here. Like EX Wind, just very quick multi-hitting fireball, as you can see here. Very fast, especially for the range he has. EX 360 lets him basically bop the enemy and get a follow-up after the fact. EX Up Tackle is basically a giant fireball, which doesn't do much in and of itself, but he does have a command normal that tosses people up. And if you do that into this guy, then, well, a lot of very easy juggle potential. As you see, there you go, right? So, quite easy for him to juggle with that. And stuff like EX Ground Pound actually is a pop-up instead of just the ground pound in and of itself, right? So there's a lot of potential from that. Like, say if I hit you with shoulder, I can go into this, into another shoulder, right? So any basic hit confirm stuff with him is quite easy to work with. And he does have a grab super, FYI, so if you're just looking to dunk people, that's good. And as far as the big desperation super, he does have a really good reaction check super. So if you whiff fireballs or anything like that, it's full invincible, tracks everywhere on the screen. So watch your toes, basically, because otherwise Ndidi's going to take all the elements and crash you to the ground real bad. So basically, if you are a fan of the big boy archetype in fighting games, Ndidi is a really, really good and fun representation of the archetype. So George is the closest thing the game has to the secret character, I guess you could say, as he's the hardest to unlock normally. But George, let's just say he's a fan of the Ikari Warriors, as he's got a thing or two when it comes to a lot of their specials and how they go. So George out of the gate, he's got a lot of good knife moves here, big normals, bigger than most in this game. He does have kind of traditional fireball tosses and grenades. They're a little slower, but as you can see here, you can cover multiple angles, and they're actually really good for combos as well. And if you're tossing out slow fireballs, all that kind of stuff, you're going to jump. And the one thing about George is, well, going to the move list here, against George, don't jump, because he's got a traditional Shoryuken, and it basically works exactly like you think it will, which is very good. As far as things like combo extenders go, he's actually very blessed. EX Knife, pop up here, and obviously you can Shoryuken after the fact. EX effectively reverse genocide cutter also pops up the enemy here. And of course, naturally, combo follow-ups. And this is where it gets pretty fun here, because you can do quite a bit. So when you do this here, you can toss grenades first, and then go into Shoryuken and all that kind of stuff. And since almost everything's allowed to cancel into everything in this game, you're allowed to go into supers after the fact as well. And his super is basically Burn Knuckle, but that grenade there, let's attach that grenade to the end of the Burn Knuckle, right? So a little bit more deadly than what old Terry Bogard's been doing. But yeah, for my money, George, if you have a lot of traditional fighting game fundamentals, and you play a lot of the older games and understand a lot of the moves you're seeing out of him, I think he will reward you very well. Just basic zoning with a Shoryu and all that kind of stuff, good pressure with the knives, and like a bunch of his follow-up attacks, all that kind of stuff. He's a good fighting games 101 character. Okay, so Sebastian, are you the kind of player that says, I want to hit the most buttons possible? Then this is your character. This is the character, high APM, I guess you could say, hitting a lot of buttons and also lots of links. So yes, naturally he is the boxer character. And specifically, he's an ice boxer. Not since Hitmonchan in Pokemon has ice punches and boxing gone so well together. So a few things to note out of the character. So he's basically has to be in your face. He has basically no range presence. The closest thing he has, cortical forward punch, which is all right, admittedly, right? It has a little range, but that is as much range as he gets. Now, thankfully, he has things like command dashes, and EX command dash might as well be a full screen teleport, by the way. So it's not that he's hopeless at a range, but just he has no options at a range other than to work his way in. Now, thankfully, well, we talked about hitting buttons, right? So he has a lot of target combos, and I mean a lot of target combos. He has also very easy links, like crouch light kick here, low. Very easily links in the stand heavy kick. That's great. And stand heavy kick, well, being a standing normal, can go into target combos. So all of a sudden we got something like that going on. And then naturally your target combo can go into a special move, right? So just general flow for him, very buttonsy, get a lot of options. Also obviously very easy hit confirms because there's a lot of buttons to be pressed. Now another thing that works for Sebastian is the Dempsey roll. So two versions, heavy kick version, this guy, and the light version. So the heavy kick version, well, it does about what you think it would do. So if you're dealing with projectiles, it very easily can just bypass projectiles and no big deal. The light version has an attack, this heavy kick. Now here's the thing, this is where he's definitely the execution character, right? So the attack out of Dempsey roll itself is special cancelable, and you can special cancel it into another Dempsey roll. And if put 1 and 2 together, is he can just keep chaining these bad boys together over and over and over. And now, once again, we talked about that earlier combo structure. So crouch lights into stand fierce into target combo. And then all of a sudden, we get 3 Dempsey roll punches at the end of our already long hit confirm, right? So that's really strong. And also, those Dempsey roll punches, even though it comes off a special, it counts as a normal move, which means they themselves are special cancelable. So now all of a sudden, a basic like hit confirm combo gets really buttonsy, right? So if you like links and you like just long involved combos, and that's a really basic thing, right? Sebastian's absolutely the guy, and that's just, pardon the pun, the tip of the iceberg as far as he goes. So one of the other things he can do is to create ice pillars, and these are impassable, by the way. Like they actually are like hard walls, and they take a couple taps, but you can break them, and you can break them with a fierce, and then that also becomes a projectile. So that's an interesting part of the character in that he can lock off parts of the screen. And of course, it being, you know, a big thing, it can help with combos. So say now I want to launch him here with this bad boy, right? I can then go into my quick dash, my effective teleport, right? Be on the other side, and then bounce them back into it. As you can see right there, right? So quick and easy combo, but you're allowed to basically bounce people off the own pillars you make or lock down their movement. And of course, lock down your movement as well, because you can't walk past it without breaking it. But still, it's a very interesting aspect of the character. Due to the nature of his moveset, it's kind of the deal where like everything flows into everything. So yeah, everything just flows into everything. It's all pretty easy in that way. So if you like offense, and a lot of combo expression, then Sebastian absolutely is that character. Now, Hadassa's a bit of an oddball. I do like this character quite a bit, but it's hard to give her an archetype specifically. It doesn't help the in-game archetype they give her is versatile, so whatever that means. So she has very easy combo structure, and she's sort of a grappler light. She does have the command grabs, a lot of arm breakers. Not quite a proper full-on grappler with the biggest grapples or anything, but it's there. So let me just give it to you straight. From what I played with her, like, she's crouch light kick the character. She gets the world off crouching lights. Either something basic like 3 lights into command grab. Basic B&B does respectable enough damage for what that is. She has cortical forward kick, which is multi-kicks, and heavier kick does more damage. And in this game, you can cancel normal specials into EX specials. And that's EX cortical forward kick. And EX cortical forward kick is just a restand. So if you want to do something really basic, yet incredibly damaging, you can do something like this. And there you go, right? It's like 40% or so damage. And all it is just crouch lights into special cancel the special into an EX, run, redo till you run out of EX meter, right? And of course, you can get a lot better than that, because She's also the only character I can think of, at least in my early time with the game. She can link lights into heavies, which some characters can do, but she can do it after 3 lights. So there you go, right? That's lights into crouch heavy punch. And crouch heavy punch being a regular normal can go into her command normal. And just, it gives her a lot of teeth on just the most basic light hit confirms, which I like. And obviously there's a lot more to the character than that, not to mention that command normal. So that command normal also has a command grab attached to it. So when you do the move, you can do a clinch grab right after the fact. And from this clinch, you can either dunk them on their head, or you can displace them with a side switch. As you can see here, and the side switch does have an attack attached to it. There is an EX attached to it as well, and basically you can just do whatever you want to do after the fact, right? So it doesn't have the canned attack, it just restand them, so whatever combo you can dream up, you're free to do. Besides that, she does have launchers, which is great, and besides the launcher, she also has an air grab, which is great, so certainly a lot of utility. Besides all that too, you can see she's blocking. She does have a true grab super. So once again, not a full grappler, but a lot of grabs. So it's definitely part of her game plan on top of her just really admittedly basic, but incredibly effective offense. And she has a good bungee jump. Heavy punch seems really good. Stand heavy punch has some decent range, a bit more than the average character. But yeah, straightforward offense, links and harder combos if you're looking for it, and a couple command grabs. And overall, I would say this is one of the easier characters for beginners, in my opinion, as her offense is straightforward, and she's always going to be able to break you, because whenever just the crouch lights don't pan out in your favor and whatever combo, you can always just rush in and do a quick command grab. So all in all, I think Hadassa is pretty cool. Now, let's talk Sho. So Sho is our game's resident guest character. Every self-respecting fighting game needs a guest character, and Sho is from Breakers and Breakers Revenge, all the way back in the earlier 90s. So if you look at the stage here, it's actually quite a few of the characters from Breakers as well. So Sho, Karate Man, and Karate Man what shoot the fireball, right? So that should give you a rough idea of where he's at in this game. So if I had to give any one direct comparison, less Ryu, more Ryo, because he also has machine gun punches as well. But of course, naturally, he has other things as well, including a dive kick, which is always handy, and multiple series of kicks here. So quarter-circle forward kick is a side-switching series, which is very handy, especially the EX version, which leads to a lot of combos and the combo potential, as we'll go over in a little bit. Quarter-circle back kick is a Rekka series, effectively. If you do it 3 times, it'll hit 3 times. And the EX version bounces, and you get, naturally, full combos from the bounce. So the basics are there. He's sort of Shoto-esque, and on that level, very easy to understand, but he's also one of the more complex characters if you're willing to put in time. Just weird things too, like say machine gun punches that we went over. EX is actually lots of fireballs. So if you're looking to complement your zoning game, and he has a nice slow fireball too, he can run behind and combo after as well here. But if you're just looking to fill the screen with trash, he's definitely a character who can easily do that. But combo-wise, one of the cool things is he has a very easy combo structure. Close heavy kick is multiple hits. So on bare minimum, very easy to hit confirm off of, right? So he has that. He has command normal forward light kick, which brings him back in. So, oh, I hit my hit. I'll do this. And he actually can chain lights after the fact. And there we go. We get 2 lights. And if we're getting lights, then we can get more hits naturally enough. Into machine gun punches. Okay, cool. Good chunk for a basic B&B. And now why don't we EX cancel this hit into even more machine gun punches, right? So we EX bounce and then got more machine gun punches after the fact. So that's some basic stuff, but combo flows very easy. Now where we get more complex is stuff like links. So crouch light kick links into crouch heavy punch. It's a little tough, but it's there. And crouch heavy punch goes into light fireball. And when you know it, up close, light fireball goes into stand jab. And then all of a sudden, you know, we're kind of cooking with gas. So if you're looking at another character here that's really good for like combo freedom and combo expression, Sho is absolutely it. Once again, I think he's a great beginner character because once again, like easy hit confirms, stuff like EX flame kick here, also just leaves the opponent standing, from which just kind of everything easily links into itself, as we shown earlier, right? So the combos, the basic stuff's easier, the hard stuff's, well, a little harder, but as free flow as you want to get with this dude, on top of doing a lot of the Shoto basics of, you know, I'm going to throw fireballs, crouch heavy punch is a serviceable anti-air, has good pressure, has dive kicks, all that kind of stuff. He's got just good, fun offense to work with. I like him in this game. Now, Daisuke, before anything else, I think this will sell you on if he's your kind of character or not, right? He's the kind of character that does that kind of thing. He is the swordsman character, and to the point, he's definitely got some swords moves from games past you might recall. So yeah, the name of the game is the sword normals and sword moves, and to that point, because he has a sword, his range is appreciably longer than pretty much the rest of the cast. Something like Crouch Light Punch, other characters just can't contend with this range. Obviously, it doesn't do too much damage, but nor should it, because, once again, other people just don't have range that can match these buttons. Now, other things interesting here. So his Flying Swallow attack, Forward Light Punch, this does leave him in an airborne state, and it is special cancelable, meaning it can go into your airborne special moves. And he's got some interesting options. Doubly so, this move is a true overhead, so they have to stand block it. So getting overheaded, you know, into some sort of combo is never a good feeling. So naturally, as a sword user, he has the auto stance here. You can just hold the sword, you can let go, do big attacks, and he also has feints and fake outs as well. So basically, once he enters the stance, who knows what he's going to do. Just blocking and waiting him out is not necessarily an easy option to work with. He also has a dashing special, which is interesting. So it's just forward, heavy punch. And in and of itself, it has a follow-up. So if you hit forward heavy punch again, you'll stab him. This move is special cancelable, despite being a normal in a way, because you can actually special cancel out of it as well. So it has some unique properties. And you can get unique combos like that. He also has some interesting properties as far as like links go. So close fierce links into standing fierce. So that's a little unique. The timing's also a little strict. You're going to have to definitely learn it, but that's two heavies back to back, so that helps with combo scaling and damage. Also, speaking of combos, so one of his EX, this is normally quarter circle back punch. The EX version is a launcher. And one of the interesting things about it is you can hit with the overhead after the fact, but if you hit it right, it actually restands the enemy. If you do it too early, it'll just splat them to the ground, but if you restand them, is you can get his aerial dive kickish follow-up after the fact as well. And obviously, if you juggle him in the air, that'll whiff. So, I don't know if it's a big deal in the end, but I just find it does reward your timing. If you get it correctly, you get the restand and then a combo follow-up. Other fun things, Crouch Heavy Punch is the hit confirm of the decade because it's so long. Other moves like Quarter Circle Forward Punch. So there's a quick backward step series. If you do the heavy version, it also has a stab forward part. And naturally, you can link all these parts together. The light version has enough hit stun that you can link the EX stance. And EX stance is basically a combo extender. So yeah, if you're just looking for like cool samurai man stuff in the end, all sorts of sword play, sword tricks, Daisuke is that guy. Ximena! So Ximena is your zoner in the game. So yo, we got a fireball. We got one that goes a little slow, we got one that goes a little faster. One thing that's interesting, so this is a light punch, heavy punch game, right? So if you hold light punch and then hit heavy punch, you can detonate it early. If you hold heavy punch and hit light punch, you can detonate it earlier with a much bigger AoE. So if you're looking to trick people out or something like that, that's very good. And naturally enough, when they're worrying about jumping your fireball, you better believe Ximena has some uppercuts. An EX uppercut is a hell of an uppercut as well, by the way. Big time juggles. Now, to help with this game plan as well, she also has teleports. So being able to move around the screen freely while throwing your fireballs and uppercutting their jumps, that's effectively the name of the game. Now, what also helps here is she has a ranged command grab. So quarter circle back, light punch, or heavy punch has two ranges. So basically, one about sweeps distance, one about 80% of the screen distance. And if you nab them, it's a true capture state. They have to get hit. Like, it can be as simple as hitting them with a fireball, although you can get a bit more complex. So say up close, you can walk up and go in the normals, and then if you can go in the normals, you can go in the combos. And her combo structure is actually very easy and very forgiving. Close heavy punch, double hits, so easy confirms. Back light punch is also command normal you can get after the fact, and it does combo into the grab. So say if you're looking for your first easy combo, it can be as simple as just landing something like that, since it's very easy to hit confirm. And then once they're in a capture state, and you can do whatever you want. Turns out her Fireball, EX Fireball, is a very generous launcher. And then you can quickly go into a quick Fireball, and she has what is effectively a Ranbu Super. And if she catches you, well then, some big spiritual dunks are coming your way. And you know, what if you're just using it by itself, so you're a little further out, right? Not necessarily have enough time to run forward and get full combos. Well, so her EX version of the grab is a different kind of grab, and it brings the enemy right to you. So you can grab them, bring them right to you, and say, go for an uppercut or something like that. And of course, the game being the game, you can cancel special moves in the EX moves. EX Teleport turns out pretty explosive. Once again, some of the EX attacks in this game are wildly different than the base move they come from. So yeah, so zoning, teleports, being able to catch people to stand still for too long, and actually, you know, uppercuts and all that kind of stuff for people who are very jumpy. Easy combo structure, very forgiving character. I think that's pretty decently strong. And naturally, just the aesthetic, right? She's a cool looking character. Got the whole kind of, you know, death face paint, skeleton face paint going on. The hot pink attacks on everything look really striking. Definitely just one of the cooler characters in this game, flat out. Like, if you're looking for a character to sell this game on, this is the character I would pick, because I think she's super, super cool, super stylish, super flashy. And our final character, Hector. So Hector is effectively the boss of the game. And, well, he's not exactly a nice guy. Let's put it that way, right? And he's also the game's stance character. So he has basically normal stance and wolf stance. And, well, the differences are fairly apparent, as wolf stance is a lot more magical, I guess you could say. So yeah, out of the gate, one of the things here is just all the normals change, right? Regular Hector, normal stance Hector is fairly vanilla. A lot of the strengths are more from like his rush down and pressure. His specials are very, very good, not the least of which he has the Iori side toss throw. And yes, he is absolutely fully allowed to combo after the fact. In fact, you can dash and get like a full combo. The only thing that prevents this from like being an infinite is it only lets you do it once per combo, because it is quite strong. He has specials that last extra long. Like other characters, this would be a Rega series. That's just quarter circle forward punch for him. And since they're so long, very easy to tell when to combo into, say, an EX move. And as you can tell here, he can string stuff together quite a long time. That's the strength of regular stance. And has other fun things like a boot special, and EX boot special is a wall bounce. And from the wall bounce, by the way, he does have air grabs as well. So that's unique to this stance. Now, in the wolf stance, which by the way, wolf stance does have a hit attached to it. So you can absolutely like get a hit confirm and then combo into it and then keep your combo going. As you can see here. So wolf stance, the normals are much bigger. Like stand heavy punch is 2 hittings even from far away. Jump heavy punch, very big hitbox. All of his specials have a lot of range. So he can compete and contest screen from quite a far distance away. Not the least, a bunch of nasty uppercuts. Also, EX is a full proper launcher. And one interesting thing is you can do something fun like this. So hit confirm into stance, and then from stance, so yeah, you can combo into stance, do a whole thing, launch, then go out of stance so you can get your air grab back and all that kind of stuff, because that's no mask only, right? So basically each stance has its worth, right? If you are without mask, your just basic pressure combo structure is really easy and strong. If you have the mask on, then your normals get really big, your specials, like everything just gets really, really big. So one's more pressure, one's just more being crazy. Not the least of which is he runs like a wolf while he has the mask on. And yeah, I don't know, just small touch, but I dig that kind of stuff. Hector is the unhinged character, and it's pretty easy to tell that, well, that's the case, right? Things are not right with this boy, not the least of which is the wolf stuff is a little more real. It's not just quite a personality. He actually changes a bit when he takes on the wolf persona. And if you're looking for something a little wild, as it were, then Hector is your boy. And that is the roster. Once again, this is a small indie dev group game. They don't got exactly tens of millions of dollars, but still, I think this roster for what it is, even if it is a little smaller, every character is very unique. Every character has a lot of personality. They all do their own thing, which is what you want, right? You don't want too many clones or copies. So even though smaller roster, everyone stands out by themselves, and that's a big win in the end. The characters, the archetypes, they're very varied, and basically whatever playstyle you tend to have in fighting games, you can definitely find something that will fit you in this game. And that said, well, that's basically the video. So let me know what you think. If you could leave a like, that would be greatly appreciated. And otherwise, we're at the end of the video, so thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Pocket Bravery.